The following is an exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the National Football League. On this episode of the Panthers Huddle, there's plenty to shout about in Carolina. Coach Canales is here as his squad looks for another win at home against the Buffalo Bills. Plus, TD breaks down Josh Allen and company in this week's film room. Welcome inside the Panthers Huddle.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us inside the Panthers Huddle alongside my incredible co-host and Panthers legend, Thomas Davis. I am Kristen Balboni. TD, we got to start with this performance against the Jets. The Panthers have now won 3 in a row. They gave up just 6 points to the Jets. I know that makes you very happy.
Listen, another dominant defensive performance. We talked about it, KB. You have to, on the road, take your running game and your defense, and we took both of those up to New York, and we got the job done. At the end of the day, I love the ascension of this football team. I love the way that this defense in particular is starting to play football, and now they've gotten into the top 10 in defense in NFL. So let's go, keep going, keep pounding. But at the end of the day, I love what these guys have been able to do up front is where it starts at. With any good football team, with any great defense, it starts up front. And those guys up front they've been getting the job done all season long, KB. But J.C. Horn and the guys on the back end have absolutely stepped their game up as well, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from them.
That's right. Derek Brown, 2 of the 6 sacks in that game. J.C. Horn, those 2 incredible interceptions. Always great to have your leaders performing at such a high level.
Yes.
And then as we look at this team coming home and facing the Bills, TD, you were saying to me earlier, what a great opportunity this is to really put everyone on notice.
It is. This is the game that people will start to look at the Carolina Panthers as being a different football team. This is the chance to jump into the national spotlight and prove to everybody that we're not just a fluke. You know, this is not just a 3-game stretch against some bad teams. Now we're facing a really good football team at home with the reigning MVP coming right here. And this is a great opportunity for this defense, for this football team to really go out and exert their dominance against a really good team. So I'm looking forward to this game, KB.
And TD, we know all the things the Bills have in their favor. They're coming off a bye. They have an incredible coach, Sean McDermott. I know you're very close with him. They have the former MVP, Josh Allen, but they've also lost 2 in a row coming into this game. What makes them vulnerable? How are teams doing it?
Listen, they're not putting together stretches of dominant football offensively like they have in years past. You know, it's just been a ton of inconsistency from this group. The defense, they've had guys in and out of the lineup, so we know how that can be tough when you don't have consistency and guys that are playing together throughout the course of the season all the time. So you're going to have issues right there, and that's something that the Bills have faced and they've dealt with, but now they're getting a lot of their guys back, right? So, you know, it's a perfect storm. You know, you're coming off of a bye week. I think they have a really good record, too, coming out of the bye. But
I think they're undefeated under Sean McDermott coming out of the bye. But wait, who cares about that?
I didn't want to say that,
First time for everything, they're due for a loss.
Listen, they're undefeated out of the bye. We're undefeated at home.
Yeah.
Something has to give this weekend. If you're at home and you're wondering if you should be at this game, this is going to be a great matchup that you don't want to miss. But without any question, KB, we know that this is going to be a phenomenal game. We know that these are 2 head coaches that are absolutely looking forward to getting out there and playing. We know Sean McDermott very well. You know, like you talked about, our former coach. We got a couple of guys, a couple of staff members that are over there. So they started calling the Buffalo Bills Panthers North because we have so many of our old people up there. But at the end of the day, it's just a like-minded organization when it comes to grit, comes to hard work, and it comes to really going out and playing dominant football. And that's what they've been able to do, and that's what we're trying to get back to as a team. So it's going to be a great game.
We certainly know what the Bills have at quarterback. Our quarterback situation a little bit more up in the air. As of the time of this recording, we can't say for sure who that quarterback will be for the Panthers on Sunday. But TD, just taking it down this road, we know what the Panthers have in Bryce Young. Say it is Andy Dalton. What should we expect from him?
No drop off. You know, Andy Dalton is a true pro. He's the guy that's gotten it done in this league for a very long time. He's put up big numbers for a very long time. And, you know, he's a leader that these guys will rally around without a doubt. So there's no question for any of these guys in this locker room whether it's going to be a huge drop-off with Andy Dalton coming in to replace Bryce if that's something that has to happen.
Again, we're just taking it day by day. You know, I'm just trying to progress, trying to go better, be better each day. It's definitely been progress, and again, I'm gonna give all my trust and faith in the training staff and continue to do my part to do whatever it takes.
Do you feel like y'all are gonna take this thing right up to the morning of?
Again, that's not my call. You know, obviously it's not just about me. You know, this is the team. You know, at the end of the day, whatever you know, I want the Panthers to win. That's always the goal. So obviously there's other moving parts. There's other stuff that has to happen. The organization is gonna do whatever's best for that. But again, for me, my task is to stay locked in, make sure that I'm keeping the same process, and do everything I can in the training room to try to get back. And that's what I'm focused on.
For me, I'm just excited. You know, if I get to be out there to get a chance to play, I was excited. Obviously, you hate that Bryce got hurt in the game, but I get to be in there, get to be be a part of it and kind of impact the game. So every chance you get, you look forward to it.
All right, we started off the show talking about this dominant defense. One of the guys who was dominant last week was the rookie Nic Scourton. A sack and a half in that game, his very first in the NFL. I had the chance to sit down with him. Take a look at this. Nic, congratulations. First NFL sack, 1.5 sacks on Sunday in that win over the Jets. I have a question. When you have 1.5 sacks, how is the half a sack compared to the first sack?
The half sack was my first sack.
That's right. Do you get just as excited about a half a sack as you do for the whole one?
In that situation, no, because I thought it was a TFL at the time. If I would have knew it was a sack, I would have been a lot more excited. But I thought it was a TFL, so I was just like, let's keep it pushing.
Yeah, okay, so that's the reason why the celebration that we saw was for the full sack. So if you're just listening, if you're watching, I'll do the celebration. If you're listening, what you did was you blew a kiss and you put your arms up. It reminded me of like, you were on a stage after a play? Is that what you were going for? Did you plan this?
No.
Yeah, it just came out?
I got too excited and I kind of froze up a little bit. Because I got a celebration that I usually do, but I was like, the sack, I'm glad it was my first sack, but I had missed one earlier in the game. It just wasn't a cool enough sack for me to do my celebration. So I just kind of, first one, here I am, everyone.
You were so happy, too, as you should be.
Coming up, Kristen Balboni sits down with Coach Dave Canales as the Panthers get ready to defend their lair against the Bills on the Panthers Huddle. This exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers Television Network is brought to you in part by Bank of America, the official bank of the Carolina Panthers.
Welcome back to the Huddle, joined now by head coach Dave Canales. Coach, 3 in a row, you've won 4 out of the last 5, and this one really felt like it was on the back of this defense. 6 sacks in this game, you allowed just 6 points. How did they get it done?
It was good team football. First and foremost for the defense, stop the run game. And we knew the challenge going into this game of having a quarterback with some designed runs. Got to give a lot of credit to Coach Ajero and the defensive staff for having a game plan for what that might look like, forcing them into a game that they didn't want to play, having to throw the ball, which is where the sack production came and the turnovers late as we turned it into that mode. And on the flip side, the offense just being committed to running the ball, finding some critical conversions on third downs early and then also late to secure the game. And the real story, though, is the special teams unit. The hidden yardage in the special teams unit to make that group, to make the Jets have to drive the whole field because of the way we fielded our kicks. A big kick returned by Trevor Etienne, another punt where he got a bunch of yards, and then Sam Martin had a phenomenal day punting the ball, pinning them back, getting the ball down the field, Bryson Tremaine covering it. Even one was a 68-yarder net where we're back on our minus 11-yard line or something like that. The ball ends up all the way on the other 20 or something, and it was just all the hidden yardage allowed us to play the game the way we wanted to and really control the time of possession and the field position.
Last week we saw this 2 running back system with Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle. And how well did you think that worked, and can we expect to see that now that both guys are healthy?
Absolutely. What I saw was 2 fresh running backs at the end of the game. That's something that I love. I love being able to look down at the call sheet, call whatever I need to, and not worry about who's out there from a running back standpoint. Both guys ran with attitude. They ran tough in this game against the Jets. The Jets did a phenomenal job trying to make it difficult on us in the run game, but the guys just kept pounding away, and we end up coming out of the game with 100-some-odd yards and really stealing the time of possession in the game because of both guys being ready and being strong at the end.
This team goes into this game against the Bills back at home. You've won 3 in a row, as we've said, 4 of the last 5, and it just seems like the momentum, the belief, and as you've said, stacking the weeks of practice, everything is going well. So what's it like in the meeting rooms? What's it like in the locker room right now?
Yeah, there's a lot of confidence and trust being built in our processes. And the players know what to do. They know how we're going to go about it, what a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday looks like. The more comfortability they have, the more confidence they have. The more confidence they have, the more we get trust and speed of play. That's really what I've seen over the course of my career, is when a team knows exactly what to expect from each other, that trust factor grows, and that's when you get to play really good football.
Josh Allen comes in, of course, he's a problem every time he steps on the field. How do you evaluate him?
He's an amazing player because he can affect the game in 3 ways. He can affect it with his arm, with his legs, and with his brain. He gets to the right place. He checks things. He works the system. They built this whole offense around him and what he can do. It's going to require a lot of discipline from our group, a lot of pass rush discipline to try to keep him in the pocket and try to minimize some of those extended plays. It also puts pressure on the secondary to stay connected to their players through the echo of the whistle, because he's going to try to extend it, But it all starts up front with making sure we handle the run game, which he is a part of, but James Cook is a special player. They got an experienced offensive line. This is a really talented offense, and it's going to call up for our best to be focused and be disciplined this week.
Aside from Josh Allen, and you just mentioned the rest of the offense, what is the biggest challenge that this Bills team presents?
They're really well coached. They have a belief in how they play football. They're a tough team, and their processes are excellent. Offense, defense, special teams, game clock management, all those things are right. This is a really good football organization in general. That's the greatest challenge, is that we have to continue to grow. We have to continue to push our processes so we can match just the quality of football that's happening without even talking about the specific players, which they have a lot of great players on both sides.
All right, Coach, before we let you go, 3-0 at home. We know this fan base is going to be out. Do you have a message for the fans as we head into this game at home?
I'm excited to see them from snap one all the way through it. Our fans are going to be fired up to be out there early. This is a team that's playing good Panthers football all the way from the start to the finish. I just can't wait to feel that energy, to feel the support of the whole fan base in Bank of America Stadium. We're really looking forward to it.
We are too, Coach. Thank you so much.
All right.
Up next, step inside TD's film room as the Panthers legend breaks down Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills on the Panthers Huddle.
Welcome inside TD's film room. TD, of course, we're looking at the Bills, and that means that it has to start with one man.
Josh Allen, the reigning MVP, KB, we have to start with him because that football team goes as he goes. I mean, you're probably sitting at home saying every NFL team does, but this Bills team absolutely goes as Josh Allen goes. If he's not having a good game, they usually lose the football game. You can see certain teams go out, quarterback don't play as well, and they still win the game. Josh Allen almost has to play perfect for them to win the game. And these are some of the things that he's capable of doing. As we watch him right here on this play, he looks the defense off, and he comes back and darts this football, KB, to where only his guy, Dawson Knox, could catch this football. And that really shows you the arm strength that he has and the confidence that he has in his teammates. So Josh Allen, that's one of the reasons why he was able to win the MVP, KB.
If you're defending him, what do?
You have to make sure that you understand what that game plan is as a total defense. It's not about coming up with a plan that you defend him on the back end and stop him from making throws like that, because we know that he's a guy that they've compared to our old guy, Cam Newton, with his ability and his size to be able to run the football. And Buffalo is not afraid to utilize him in their running game. So we have to make sure and understand that our rush lanes are very disciplined this week, because he's a guy that'll pull the ball down and pick up not only 5-10 yards to get a first down, but he's looking to go 20-30 yards and even score touchdowns from a long distance, KB.
Yes, he is. Speaking of the running game, there is another guy that cannot be overlooked for the Bills.
Listen, these Cook guys, I don't know what's in their gene pool. You know, Davin did it a long time ago coming out of Florida State. James doing it coming out of where?
Yeah, the Georgia Bulldogs.
Coming out of Georgia.
Of course, TD is going to get a Georgia mention in there.
It seems like every week, you know, we have a Georgia guy that we're playing against that's good on the other team. And he's one of those guys, handing the football to him out of the backfield, he's really dominant. Throwing the ball to him out of the backfield, he's really dominant. So he's going to be a guy that we have to make sure that we lock in on as a football team the entire time. I think that he led the NFL in touchdowns last year. So that really speaks to the level of production that he's given this Buffalo Bills team. And this is one of the reasons why, if you watch him on this play, KB, his ability to not just go in as a running back and just try to get downhill, he lets things play out. And as you watch from this other angle, you'll be able to see the vision that this kid has. And once he realizes and allows things to clear up, he hits the hole exactly the way you're supposed to, bursting through and just getting downhill, getting the extra yardage. And I think that's one of the things that separate James Cook from the other running backs in this league.
But we have seen this Panthers defense stop running backs, especially over the last 3 games. They're giving up something like 40 yards. But T, as you pointed out, especially at home, the last 2 home games.
Absolutely. Being able to do this at home, I know that this defense is going to be dominant. You know, when you think about the things that we've been able to do up front, in particular, starting with Derrick Brown, you know, and then it transitioned, so that rubbed off. Then we got Bobby Brown engaged. And now we have another guy that we're getting ready to highlight that's also doing a phenomenal job. And KB, we talked about this before the segment. You can't find any of our guys, our interior guys, that has played bad this year. We've had guys go out, but none of them has a low grade right now. And if you look at Ashawn Robinson right here, getting off the block, being dominant against this Dallas defense, I mean, dominant defense breeds dominant defense. When guys are in a room together collectively, you know, you're watching film, you're being coached the same way. A lot of times you're going to get some of that same production from any body type that you put in there when guys are committed to doing things a certain way.
Speaking of defense, we're going to go back to the Bills defense right now to talk about a player who is very near and dear to our hearts, but especially yours, TD.
KB, you know I love talking about my son, and I would be remiss if I did not bring him up as he gets ready to take on his old team. And right now, Shaq Thompson, we know, KB, he's a guy that's dealt with a ton of injuries over the last few years, but we also know that he's capable of doing things like this, running sideline to sideline and getting the ball carrier on the ground. And as you watch him more and more in this defense, he gets more and more comfortable. And he's looking a lot like his old self. So we know coming into this game, KB, he's going to be fired up. There's going to be a ton of energy. And he's going to have a lot that he wants to prove to this fan base. But at the end of the day, we know what Shaq means to this organization. We know how much he loves and cares about the Carolinas. He has proven that time and time again. So it's going to be exciting to watch him in another uniform coming out, having the opportunity to still be able to play the game that he loves.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see him. That'll be fun. All right, stay tuned with us. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to let you know what we are spotlighting for this big game against the Bills. Stay tuned for that.
Closed captioning for the Panthers Television Network is provided by Charlotte Eye, Ear, Nose, and Throat Associates, providing premier eye and ENT care to North and South Carolina.
All right, it is time now for our Coke Spotlight. TD, we always like to start with you. What are you spotlighting for this game?
KB, it's going to be the chess match for me this game. You know, you got an offensive-minded head coach in Dave Canales. You got a defensive-minded head coach in Sean McDermott that we know very well. And you look at Coach McDermott, I know and understand that regardless of who's at quarterback for us this week, he's going to blitz. That's his MO. That's something that he loves to do. And he's a guy that's very passionate. He loves coming in and try to get after his former teams. That's something that he used to always talk to us about whenever we played the Eagles. And, you know, Coach Canales, we got something good going on right now here. So he want to show this fan base, hey, I can go out and I can dominate against a team that's been traditionally really good since Coach McDermott and Brandon Beane and those guys have taken over. So I like the chess match that's going to be going on between those two, and I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, how it all plays out.
That's such a good point about the two, their strengths, and then, of course, what Sean McDermott brings to the table, and then Dave Canales, what he's got going on. I like that. My spotlight is on this team. You talked about it earlier to start the show. What a great opportunity this is, and what a great opportunity to continue these streaks. 3 straight at home, have not lost at home. 3 in a row. We could get that 4th win in a row. And as you said, put the NFL on notice with a great opponent. TD, I know as a player, you just relish these matchups. You want to go in and beat the team that everyone is talking about.
No question. And utilizing that home field advantage, KB, I think that's going to be so important for this football team. And, you know, Panther Nation, we need you guys to show up in a big way, because we know every time we play those traditionally good teams from years in the past that their fan base usually show up in a big way. So I'm going to need Panther Nation to show up to combat what the Bills fans are going to be doing this weekend. So.
All right. Well said, TD. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next week. And until then,
keep pounding.
You've been watching the Panthers Huddle, a copyrighted presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the NFL.